I know they lost to Giant X. I VOD reviewed it. I thought they played a pretty good Haven. So
well, it looks like we are going. Kiko, I love you so much for this. He's just ditched the Omen and he's brought out a ISO. You can't prepare for this, Mini.
No, you can't prepare for this. No. So all that prep stuff out of the window this series completely. First map, change comp. Second map, change comp. I like this from Liquid.
And you have to look at BBL as well, because they will be sitting there and thinking we've prepped for a certain composition that they were expecting to come up against. So we are going to see Serial back onto that Astra. I want to see how that plays out for them. But like you say, it's Kiko and Camo that we're looking at here as that double duelist. And of course, BBL, they have played double duelist on a couple of maps, so they should know how to play against something like that. I think it's just a question of, are they going to be able to contain that aggression that we expect coming out from Liquid's composition?
And my eyes go towards Sociable as well. Such an experienced player, especially on that Sova. Paddy on the other side, not so much on this Agent. So Hazard and Cairo, I'm looking forward to seeing if BBL can take us to a map 3.
Hey, it's certainly something different. I'm excited to see what kind of a look this is for Liquid. Kiko, the highest ACS of a non-duelist player in kickoff, but he kind of is a duelist player anyway, so I'm glad that we get him back on the roll again.
Yeah, 100%. For me, though, I've got to throw it back to that interview. Lohan said, today will be a different day. I mean, it's a different day for different comps. That's what they're bringing forward, and I'm looking forward to what they have on Haven.
Hey, look, the guy didn't lie. He's a man of his word. Hard thing to come by at times. And, well, right now, setup, as simple as it is Nats towards the other side of the map. Previous pistol they played, he was the A player. Now, a solo C-hold is what is asked of him. But again, those traps that he's placing, so good for the Flood back site if they need it. It's mid that you've got to be thinking about. The walk down punished, and then Magnum able to shut out the engagement itself.
Really nice. Spike isolated now. How does Team Liquid get... Oh, say Team Liquid. How does Serial or Nats get this one back? You can see right now, though, BBL ever so slightly worried about the positioning and perhaps the availability of Lux that Liquid have as Nats is making his way through B and towards C-Link.
Such a strong position. It's what you do with it. This smoke, Yumpy concerned of it, still holding on against his former teammate. Hearing the steps, and that's caught his attention. Timing is completely off. And so Nats has opened the door to a C-site plant. It's a little longer on Sociable's rotation as well.
Got to be looking at the utility though, as BBL try to come back into sight. An info dart, 2 shocks, and even the paranoia. A boatload of information, and already getting the first pick.
It's a big one. Serial in the hot seat. His chance to really show us that new man, but instead it's Profek in the position. Instead, the clutchest player that BBL have on their team, but well supported instead this time. A 2 versus 1, which they'll convert. That's another BBL pistol.
Yeah, similarities from that first map. The Sentinel getting a double kill that puts the team in towards a winning position. Levin just so unfortunate to be caught out there. But this long fight is everything for BBL.
And you see on the replay there as well, it was a cam early on placed for the contact.
Nice, Martin! The fucking
yeah, no, it was. That's probably a good way to put it. Yumpy, thank you for summarizing that for us. But yeah, look, well, I mean, it wouldn't be a real inauguration into EMEA without getting used to the scenery. But look, we can see the league officials are investigating. We'll be back on.
Yeah, we certainly will. But I think this allows us to take a step back and look at the wider conversation between BBL and Liquid, because coming into this matchup, I was really excited, right? Because even though there was one match, right, you had 2 different trajectories for the 2 teams. Liquid, you were thinking, oh, is this them kind of falling to the wayside because of how many maps they've played, which they've already answered. And BBL, where you're thinking, are they the real contender we saw in Contender or Pretender, right? And right now, they're looking like a pretender because they're not answering what Liquid are putting forward, although this map could be their way to answer back.
Certainly think so. It's a staple of their off-season. Got so many reps up on it early on. all of that counts for nothing. You can't hit your shots, and well, Levin did do exactly that. It wasn't enough to finish off Nats. Yumpy finding one back through the middle of the map is helpful, but look at Kiko. Already let off the leash, back into C-Link. Another scary position for BBL, but one that they should be aware of.
Magnum's doing 360s. I don't think this is 2012. 3K though. That's left alone. The only player to buy a light shield that's allowed him to survive this long.
And I don't even know how he ends up in C-Link in the end there as well. It just feels like there's a magnet that attracts Liquid players in this position. No idea how it happens, but look, here we go into the rifle round now. BBL have the anti-eco under their belt. The importance of it stressed in the previous map. That carries forwards here. As Magnum finishes off his triple with a kill on another player that he has shared the same side of the server with. There's so much overlap in terms of history between the players on these teams. It all goes out of the window, no love lost. As Liquid have a buy, it looks like a pretty direct C play for now with both duelists. At least looking towards long.
Yeah, Magnum already looking to drop off towards backside. In terms of the utility, you can look at it. Placed for identifying these lurks, B main, and towards deep in garage.
Garage control, a priority highlighted for Liquid against mates, doing the same here. Early deposit, as you know, on the map of Levin. Just outside a lobby, Drone trying to clear this, Patty the one to do it. It does reveal position, and utility in support from Yumpy was good, but all that does is accelerate this C play.
Yeah, BBL having information, they could already lean towards this side of the map, but you've got to be thinking about these backside anchors. Can they stand the test of the aggression? Magnum certainly cannot. Still though, a quick pause to affairs as the spike attempts to go down. Camo going towards backside. Sociable not looking towards what was below. And leaves the last two remaining players of BBL in a clutch, which, well, already is not going well.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised that BBL didn't put a heavier price on Garage there as Levin gets traded out right at the end, because as I said before, it felt like the foundation that Liquid built a lot of rounds of their offense against mates on this map, the most recent tape that we would have on them if you're talking about, you know, preparation. Themes which have been repeated many, many times and was discussed in detail by the desk. As soon as Magnum goes down, it's a difficulty from that point onwards.
Yeah. I think as well that you're trying to hold on towards backside, but also fight through your own smoke. Like, you have to make a decision. You either get into that smoke early, or you hold the kind of cross out, right? Already though, like we saw that Team Liquid identified the presence on A lobby, and this time they're going to fight it early.
Kiko does have his ult up here. Chance to pull a player in, perhaps. But it's utility used on the side of Liquid instead to just take long control. Now investigating towards sewers. Patty yet to invest, but the drone is expected. So as it flies through, up and out into the light, as it is quite a sunny day in Berlin, it's going to capture Profex. So that's Kiko now in the 1v1 as kills going their way elsewhere for Liquid. He will find Profex in the Shadow Realm too. So a 5v2 presents itself. Liquid in full control.
Even getting to deposit more utility in terms of the traps, etc. Maybe at the back of their head, thinking about saving Magnum's rifle at the very least. I mean, the money not looking great. It's always the worst thing about being on defense is the economy state. And Liquid now looking to hunt.
And I love this too. Hat off the head from Nats. Kiko's already signed off on his kill contract. Why not add a couple more? Camo goes chasing. And with Magnum, the last name left on the list, there is no way to erase it. It's Kiko to finish it off flawlessly, an in-zone flawless to tie the scoreline up.
Yeah, spot on. Everything about that, the fact that like you get such a minimum impact ultimate, right? You look towards the neural theft as not being one of the greatest, and now it allows you to go then and break BBLs by stop them having something to work with in the next round,
I think we're going
and
to break
build
the
up your
economy.
own
I'm going to use ulti
ultimates.
soon, okay? In 10 seconds. I want to fully
Genius.
break economy for them.
Yeah, there you go. It's spot on.
Mate, get it posted on the TikTok. 500 IQ, Nats doesn't have a hat. It means that his brain can grow to new sizes, not restricted by the headwear.
That's a bit of a reach.
Jokes aside, against Pistols here, the B site is where Liquid go. I mean, now people often say you never go B against the Eco. They want to take some extra space, and with a double tap active, they walk into trouble. What did I say?
Neuro Theft invested as well, so they'll get a full grasp of what's going on. And look at the late flank coming through from A lobby.
It'd be huge if Sociable plays his cards right, but instead, he's just a little too eager. A couple of rounds now where he's been a step behind the play, when he could have been ahead of the curve instead. Levin with a face check, shoulder spotted, so's the barrel. It's betrayed Patitech, and so Yumpy will capitalize. 3-on-2, BBL with just a man advantage.
And because the two players had pushed in towards A-Link, the players on BBL have picked up 2 rifles to work with. This is not looking good right now for Team Liquid as they isolate the 2 players that they're working with.
But yeah, and Nats is still towards Garage, so it's only Serial fighting on site. He's separated from the man
30 seconds left.
who is mentoring him in this team, as he said before, to lead by example. He stressed the importance of it, but it cannot be done on this round. You feel like it's his call exactly which sold them short. A thrifty from PaySafe card is what we end up with. A direct B play straight into the jaws.
You literally called it as the round was happening. Some people say do not go B when they're on an eco round. And BBL do so well to pick up the rifles and snowball that into the PaySafe card thrifty.
And look, to not say that my word is gospel or anything, I think you want to break away from that conditioning at times and go for something unexpected, but there are reasons why this is a thing, you know?
Yeah.
And yeah, just neither of these teams can finish their dinner when it comes to anti-ecos, I guess, or at least that was the trend before. Camo has a Bucky to support the overdrive investment. 2 traps from Magnum. First won't catch him, second does. Down to 47. Now the backside space is where they'll look to fight Liquid.
That's a frustrating one, getting taken out by a Bucky, and even a second one as well. BBL, though, still trying to work their way back through with the 3 players that they have remaining.
No drone, no stun. A little bit of silence required before BBL can engage.
I mean, that info dart coming up soon. It comes up before Team Liquid have theirs, and Yampy already getting the first. Rolling Thunder online and straight into the site. Patty, though, looking to try and escape in towards CT, but doesn't get his timing right and loses control of the site and the spike. BBL, they're working on the spike and they're working on this round. Yampy with 4, and so do BBL.
Yampy takes the quad, but the star of the show for me is Sociable. Brilliant discipline from him towards Spawn, a player who I highlighted in previous rounds for maybe being a little bit error-prone, but he completely makes up for it here. Knows that Patty has to fill that gap in the smoke in front, and so he backs all the way up, estranges the final remaining player, and here Yampy's just going to clean up the round. So really well played between the members of BBL, and now with this lead established, looking to try and build on it.
I mean, obviously Rolling Thunder using the last round, got to be thinking towards the Hunter's Fury in this one, but I mean, it's going to be used straight away.
Yeah, it's a combo with the fault line, but as soon as no tags come up, it's beginning to search elsewhere for Sociable. Does catch on to Kiko.
Big
Still,
information.
double tap is available for the ISO player. I mean, Liquid outside of Garage is a story as old as their strat book, I think, at this point in time. So you are expecting it if you're BBL right now, and the setup is there for it as well.
Right now, look towards C-Long, right? Already deep information from BBL. They should start to have an idea about Liquid leaning towards A, and that's confirmed through Profix contact.
With how much BBL were expectant of that play set up towards mid, you'd think they'd be thinned out on A, but instead Profec has cut them down to size. With Serial gone, there's no smokes left. You're straight into the site behind the relay bolts of Camo. Rallying off shots, but it's Sociable who trades, and with the mid-lurk lost, it's numbers BBL back into a retake where they are strongest.
Yeah, this is getting claustrophobic for Liquid because of the fact that Levin's so fast on this flank.
I don't think they're even going to be able to set up the post-plant. They've got to look for kills, and with Camo finding yet another, he's got to funnel more bullets back in the magazine before he can give it a second go. Grouped up with Patty, plant goes down. BBL still in front by just the one man for now. But Liquid have reacted well to take this space towards CT.
And they still have information items to use, right? You're looking towards this owl drone. Could even use a Hunter's Fury late into post if they need it.
Difficult position for Patty to try and find use for it, but instead it's the shots which will connect for him. Yampi getting one back. Sewers where he'd hung out for the majority of this round. Now looking to finish it there. It's Magnum who will go on in his stead. And so 5 found for BBL.
A very big round, massive in fact, because it was getting close and you could see how it was working for Liquid generally. But on top of that, I think for me though, it comes to the early rounds, like the fact that BBL identified the garage push early doors and knew how to react to it by pushing Levin down C long, and then that A lane becomes so much easier. Right now though, Liquid have seen enough. Lohan wants to come in and talk to his players.
Looking at this comp from Liquid, there are quite a few strengths that you'll find on the defender side, actually. But in terms of the attack, I think, yeah, you've got to be playing Kiko like a second initiator and helping set up camo in those instances. You only have one undercut now, but with the suppress that it has as well, it's such an effective tool for going for these quick executes, if that's what you want to aim for. In terms of ults, they've built a couple up here as well. So again, we look towards that strat book, that playbook, to see what exactly it is they have prepared for us, because already we've seen variation from BBL.
It's really nice, you know, seeing the variations, etc. Team Liquid, like the comp that they're bringing forward, like I feel as if this is a totally new one, right? But you think towards the last map, Fracture, it was like a variation on a comp that was already built. So it's almost like the difference between building upon what was kind of already working and now trying something completely new. And at the minute, it's not hitting the same.
Yeah, it's effectively the old Fnatic comp, but just with the adjustment of Astra coming in now that you have the 5 stars. And Mini was speaking about it, how much he likes to play with Astra, just because of how much extra value you get from that utility. But I mean, I can't help but feel at the same time, is Serial the man to be playing that role? Because not only have you put him on a controller, which he only showed for the first time in the previous series, but one which is very micro heavy, and when you're focusing on that kind of stuff, it's a lot more difficult to perform on, you know, just shooting your gun in your hands.
A little bit of carnage, and Magnum somehow slipped into a pocket to work with. And he's working well after he gets the first and plays in the rest of BBL. A little distraction, a bait and switch, and it works so well. Patty not long for this world, and neither is Team Liquid. It's an in-zone flawless.
Brilliant read from BBL, setting up for the C-site hit after the timeout. And already there is little money left for Liquid to tap into to follow that round up. So a bit more time spent at the drawing board, I suppose. One of the questions I had for Magnum coming back onto the Sentinel role here, which for him, again, you know, we say it is comfort, but stylistically very different to how Chiwa plays the role, and I think you'll especially see that on the attack side when it comes to the lurks. He does like to get very aggressive. He's an aggressive Sentinel player. He had the read in the previous. What does he make of this one?
Look, he wants to stick around. Young player likes to be aggressive, and he's certainly been here. Blaze just popped out, and that's too easy picked. Making 3 for Liquid. It's just death by 1,000 cuts. 4 1v1s taken, and Liquid win them all.
Live by the sword, die by the sword. It's the micro again, I think. Just so many isolated engagements. This is how Liquid were able to sow chaos on Haven in their previous map against Gentlemate. Some of the rounds that did look really scrappy, but they're fighting on multiple fronts. And on a round like this, when, you know, you can give Camo a Bucky and just send him in, then why not? It's a thrifty repay safe card yet again. And of course, it's Liquid that pick it up.
Yeah, I mean, that last round is, like, as we've heard coined a few times, muddy Valorant, right? Levin gets the first and just wants to try and go more. And I think that's where, like, being a young player, you'll see that, like, inexperience, right? Rather than being more passive because he's on a lesser buy.
Good job.
At the same time, I feel like it is also hard to put that down to solely Levin. As you say,
of course.
It's one piece in a bigger puzzle because, as you know, he likes to create plans, likes to get involved. This another one of them, cooked up immediate. 2 smokes, looking for the reveal over the top, already broken out. Pico claiming his opposite number. And now looking for that fight inside the kill contract, which he wins. And with a double tap back online, BBL will not be dipping in for any more.
Really nice re-engage through the kill contract. Nats as well, fighting his way through mid. Oh no.
Re-engaged his position. Nats aware of it. Prophet trading out. The 1-for-1 does put them a player short, BBL. This is going to be a serious test of whether they can become a little more than the sum of their parts, because while they were able to win a few retakes, 2vx's situations previously, this feels like a whole different kettle of fish, and Sociable playing a corner you'd typically consider one and done has to come up with the goods and then some.
Worlds apart, the two players. No tradability. Individuality is massive.
The reveal is not going to catch him here. This is the one corner you need to clear that the reveal does not scan, and Sociable is very nearly let off the hook.
You can see Prophet, the idea, TPing in towards C-Long. You're waiting to see how that first engagement goes in the 1v2, but just nowhere near it. 6-4 though. They're looking for BBL to make good on this advantage that they've taken in the early rounds.
And it comes right back to what I was saying before the round as well, how Levin is always looking to try and...
Let's go!
Call for what it is exactly that he wants, the setup utility, and you saw that reflected in how he performed with such confidence against Fnatic in kickoff, when on the Euro a lot of the time he was like running down mid on Abyss, and while he had the support of his team there, they were also coming to him, and it was pretty clear between them, like, okay, I'm actually going to hang around a little bit longer, I'm trying to do this, I'm trying to do that. So important, as we stressed before. I think the difference on a map like Haven, when it is more fundamental, is that then that vocality is a little bit different. It is more like, what are you calling, pre-round rather than anything else.
100%. Now, looking towards BBL's timeout, what they're looking to change. Is there anything you'd immediately identify as like problem issues, apart from the individuality that we've seen some of these rounds go?
The big thing for me right now is that Liquid, before, they showed us 2 different styles. They were sort of defaulting, they were being direct. Now they're just trying to create chaos and force BBL to make reactions. As I said before, protocols are always something stressed. We've heard the word VALORANT thrown around a few times in our years, I would say. But his way of playing, yeah, you're expecting those reactions. If you can find a way to sort of stimulate a certain area of the map to get a set response, then that's exactly what you're looking for, finger on the pulse. And I think a lot of that comes through mid, as I was saying.
I like the positioning of Magnum here as well. You look towards the kill traps on the east side. You've got to be thinking of that buff that ISO got, right, with the undercut, now actually suppressing players.
Yeah, it just makes it all the more valuable as well, only having one. That's the trade-off.
Yeah.
Yeah, for example, if you could land that onto Magnum, then it's the setup gone. He is held up in the heavens as it stands, though. Double kill trips down long. That's the one counter to Camo that you'd be looking for, but he gets away scot-free.
Yeah, with a first trap, there's still a second one hanging around, and still BBL have control of the site.
That true blue duelist. It's only 34 points of health now. Bit of mid-rounding from BBL. Sociable only able to clear the corner, but Kiko, the healthy player, happy to help out those in need. Camo taken down by the toe. And Yumpy still in behind this cage. Space which needs to be cleared. Oh, up again. He's just going to send it straight in their face. And while Patty's walked through it, it's into Yumpy's open arms. Kiko, last player left. Not on the smoker this time, but to save the day from the duelist role.
I mean, if there was a player to do it, right? Here's the TP, but 4 players. And Yumpy to put the cherry on top. The ulti, which essentially decided the round. Team Liquid forced to walk into a trap. 7 confirmed, an advantage for the next half to work with. And now only 1 round remaining in this one.
Mixed weaponry coming into this one as well, so able to do a really good job buying up the pieces that they did.
Nice!
Yumpy, a player as well who, we maybe didn't see it in the first map, but hasn't really struggled to frag out while calling so far. Having a fragging IGL, the amount of value we put on that, so really big of him. The other thing as well, just keeping everyone else in check, and with Levin going walkabouts in mid yet again, he's punished on an opening duel.
Trying to put severe pressure on towards Garage right now, forcing out utility from BBL. But right now, BBL are completely leaving it. Would rather not deal with it. Now looking elsewhere on the map. You're looking at Magnum, locking down C, and the rest of BBL looking towards A. Not wanting to deal with mid at all.
Happy to give it up if they have a setup that can play into that.
Cage triggered.
Drone, cam, cage from Liquid, all of this just fodder to try and cause an issue, but the one you've got to be concerned of is the Hunter's Fury. That question mark space given an answer, but it feels like more of a red herring right now.
Spot on. Natsto wants to continue moving forward and doesn't realise there's a player right behind him.
Okay.
Trigger discipline, just to make sure there's no more. And well, there you go, converted into a kill.
I was wondering where we were going with that one, but Profek realizes in the end, oh, it's Nats. Okay, there's nobody else here. Where are they? Garage. And Magnum has a boatload of them right in front of his crosshair. That's the spike drop to the back of the pack. Camo to collect onto C, but not without concessions.
Oh no. BBL find themselves in an advantage. You're looking towards the utility to come back in on, and there's so much to be used.
BBL have been brilliant in their retakes so far, but this one to find an 8 could truly separate them from Liquid heading onto the attack side. Profek clawing back the space towards Garage. It's Kiko out on an island, finding himself in a BBL sandwich, and he doesn't like the sound of that. Stepping back into the reveal. And when the limelight hits his face, he melts under the bright Berlin lights. It's BBL to clean house at the end of the half. And outside of the opening 12, they'll have the majority of the rounds this time.
Yep, and the big thing coming from Fracture and towards Haven, the one word I would use is control. BBL looked in control this defensive half, and now as they move on to the attack, this is Haven. You have to remember that we usually have that attacker bias. Will that come true in the second half?
Nice! Come on!
Get on your feet and move to the beat. Pour up some drinks and then we repeat. Yeah, chasing my purpose, need a release. Yeah, my life's a beach, I'm lost in the breeze. Do this with ease, don't play with my dreams. Yeah, it's so together, it's not what it seems. Heart of a tiger, life of a king. Yeah, chasing my bag, my feet in the cream. Running these laps, not losing my steam. I'm feeling good, this life's what I need. Don't intervene with my energy. Yeah, I'm in her scope like Jimmy Iovine. Yeah, no Superman, but I'm feeling supreme. This not a movie, but I'm making a scene. Yeah, I can tell you how to live your life, but you just gotta get up.
BBL back in action and making the better of that first half, it's safe to say. The word that you said, control. And I think a control performance is really what we needed with how messy some of those rounds looked towards Fracture. It's onto the attack side, though, where they had previously struggled before.
Yeah, and well, we're looking for them to make good on the mistakes that they have done. As for Team Liquid, how does this comp look like on the defense, right? You're looking towards the double duelist, right? They have to be more aggressive, they have to be trying to take that space. We'll just run quickly into a tech pause though, just before we get underway.
Hopefully resumed fairly soon. You like the colour red?
More of a green man myself.
Yeah, best not get used to it. But I completely hear what you're saying with this one, Cairo. I think in terms of BBL as well, to just take a step back while we have a second, you're talking about a team which, in this fixture, historically, I know we've seen changes between them. Liquid have won 5 out of the 6 meetings between the two in VCT EMEA. And I think that's sort of... That's calling to BBL's history as well, and to re-inspire the fan base that has followed them for the last 4 years. You think even this game, if they were to win it and go up 2-0, they have never won more than 3 games consecutively in a row in the league, whereas it feels like the identity is a lot different. The team culture, I think, is there as well. You weren't just removing the old guard, which now ultimately represent Eternal Fire in challenges. It's a completely different brand of Valorant that's being played here as well.
Yeah, and I think, like, as well, when you look towards Liquid and what they've brought forward, right, a team or an organisation which is used to being at the height of any esport that they play in, and specifically in Valorant as well, when you think towards the history of this organisation, back when they had Scream, and towards, like, the Red Guard roster, now trying to move into, like last year, now into this one. As an organisation, like, they should be up at the heights of EMEA.
Is it the heights of any game, did you say? I thought you also said earlier we weren't in 2012. But,
oh, thanks, man.
You know, they have history. There is legacy there, right? 25 100%. Years celebrated this year. I think a big thing for me too, when you look at the players that they have and the core of this team, a guy like Kiko, for example, the reason why you keep him on is because he is so hungry, so eager at his age to sort of fit any role that they need for him, and you can build around that. I think that's where it then becomes a really difficult situation for someone like Serial coming into the team for the first time. As I said, again, on this map, specifically when you're playing Astra, which is such a complex agent for one that you maybe don't have a crazy amount of reps on. And then he's going to, you know, he bottom fragged the first 2 maps that he played, and both of those 2 maps also happened to be maps where he was playing an agent for the first time in his career. The 3rd map, he top fragged, albeit they still lost, but it's that comfortability that we're talking about. That comes with time. I think they need to give him time if that's what they want to commit to, because to open up a different discussion at the same point, you're talking about a team which has a Challengers Academy roster, and that's sort of where you look to then pull from in the future, as the majority of players in the server right now on both sides have come from Challengers in the last year or so.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. But with that being said, we are finally ready to get things underway. BBL move on to the attack. Team Liquid with a double duelist on defense. What can they bring forward, and how aggressive can they set up? We look towards that barrier drop for what Liquid are going to try and do with those double duelists.
That's right, bums back in seats. It's what we want to see. Not quite at squeaky bum time just yet. But the pistol could decide quite a lot. And that's a different setup to what we've seen from him before. Can for a little bit of info, but realizes this site is best left. Towards Garage he goes, but Levin is looking. Ooh. Does he want to disrespect this smoke? Nat doesn't have the right idea, and so Levin gets the opener.
But while this has all been happening, right, it's a complete fake on C, and BBL know that after the initial aggression, they can go and re-clear towards A.
Go back site. Only with a double tap, yet to equip it, fighting out solo, fearless, he falls, Sociable following it up. With that second layer of Levin levied over their heads, the threat comes in from both sides if you're Liquid. Time is of the essence, and you've only got 2 players to digest this with.
Yeah, not only that, you look towards the layers that are happening on screen as well. Levin's been deposited late for a flank. BBL though, they've got so much utility, and that was an absolute gorgeous round of Valorant.
Yeah, really well played from the experience, as I said before, to the youngsters on this team. And with Yumpy being in charge of 4 Challengers players effectively coming in, you're seeing so many of these rounds also where Sociable is so valuable. And the reason why I mention him yet again is he's the eldest rookie in VCT EMEA since partnerships began at 28. So, you know, it's not often that you can't really call him a rookie because he's been in the Turkish scene for so long, but he complements a player like Levin really well for, you know, those flag-bearing pieces which they have held on to.
It's an interesting buy actually being bought through by BBL. It's 3 Stingers, right? It's not something that we see typically, as well as 2 Ghosts. So something different being brought through.
It's like not even really an FPX buy.
Yeah, it's not even really that much of a anti-eco, right?
FPS by three-person stinger. With a bit of a list.
Please. This is what I have to deal with on a daily basis.
It's an FPS game after all. Let's see if they can shoot some people. Playing on site right now, no extra space, but you can see how much Liquid are respecting this. They finally get back in, but that's when the utility comes out the belt.
Oh, it's not nice.
Oh.
Maybe it's more nice than you think. The Thrifty, the Stinger's fucking out, and now Patitech playing from C-Long. He's already stunned up. This should be easily converted. Ah, that round has completely thrown me. That's double digits for BBL.
But look at the credits, Cairo. They got a lot of money to throw around here as well, with the Stinger being a cheap weapon. I mean, what do the repurchases look like? I'm seeing an Outlaw, I'm seeing a Vandal. Sorry to spoil it for all you at home. But BBL feeling pretty composed after this one. And I think the difference is this time, they won the pistol round. You're now coming into an attack side round. Some nice shots from Kiko Sheriff.
Some nice utility as well. Like, you saw the grab well being used as well. By, I think, Team Liquid, well, it was Team Liquid because BBL don't have one. But they like to try and force players into like a bad position. Early gunfight, Levin loses out.
Camo winning that one again. Strange seeing him in action at the start of the round sometimes. He's the best closer that they have, I think. Most clutches won on Liquid is their duelist. So as the round goes on, he gets more and more useful. Same could be said for Nats, but his sight has fallen at the hands of the Stingers. That's why you buy him. Here's Sociable arriving around the side through mid. And so Kiko last left. How many times are we going to say that one today? The secondary duelist is second best this time.
I mean, I put a big question mark on the Stinger by, like, how it was going to work, but already you're seeing how they're using it on that C side of the map, manipulating through garage, forcing the fights towards backside, and Lohan, he's seen enough. He's calling his second and last time out of regulation.
Time is a flat circle, man. Look at these entries. I mean, it's just players running out, spraying to the side. You get so quickly into position because of the movement as well, and Yampy is loving it. And this timeout comes at exactly the same point in which it did for BBL on Fracture. If you want to draw a parallel here, a team 11 rounds to the good. And it's where I go back to that conversation about character for both of these teams and the players that they have. I think, like, you look at Liquid, everyone on that roster has at least sort of a year from the 2024 campaign now coming into this one in VCT, whereas you can't say the same for BBL. I find it even interesting in this pole v pole matchup we've got between Profek and Patitech, that a guy like him, so many people said about Profek, like, he wouldn't be ready for the jump up without the time that he had on Go Next. And it was that little bit time before on Diamant where both of those players were picked up simultaneously from free agency, which was sort of like the catapult which started the resurrection of Patitech's career, I think, because he was a T1 player before, but it took a little bit of time for him to get back up to that level. Alongside Profek is where he did it, and well, now he's got to beat him.
Right, look towards B though. Look at the players ready to line up, and look at BBL close by. This could be pretty spicy at the early doors.
Not going to show all too much. Couple loose cannons, Liquid. They'll back away. It's a gentleman's agreement. There is nothing left to be said of this, but Serial, who could be hot under the collar momentarily, but looks like Levin's the one going to be fighting him. He has struggled in those first duels.
Levin, edging closer. The timing's insane. No, 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 no. First blood to BBL, and that's a big one to lose out. That's your Astra gone.
And that's the only player that was looking B. He's just turned his head.
And now Liquid have to go, try and re-clear towards this B side, and BBL are sitting waiting.
Levin takes those every day of the week, but shouldn't be getting any more. It's Kiko to peek into him next. Very easily could have fallen asleep at the wheel, but no, Kiko in for a fight and then doubles down on the double tap, and so Sociable. I think you know the next words out of my mouth. Doubles up.
Still a Thrifty in Yampy's hand. That's Thrifty. Keep calling it Thrifty. A Stinger in Yampy's hands.
Yeah. Dude, he's so rich by now as well. That's be in 9K soon. That's if Nats can't put a stop to things. He broke their bye before. He broke their backs with some of the impact he had on Fracture, and one on the fadeaway would have been good. if he hadn't been snatched from the darkness by Profek.
Yeah, Patty's trying to come back out through this CT spot. This is not the position you want to be in.
Stinger again.
I think you'd be thinking about a save here, right? You look at the money, factor on defence, and he still tries to send it. It will be 12. It will be map point for BBL. A very convincing way to bounce back from Fracture.
Hey, look, he finally found an upgrade. There was one on the floor, but to me, it comes back to this, you know, slight lapse in concentration, perhaps from Serial. So focused on other things happening on the map, and it's a point that I've made several times. And you see it there specifically, that when you're so focused on, you know, micromanaging all the different utility and stuff like that, you can get caught up in these kind of things sometimes. And that's no fault of his own. It's just being thrown into this situation. Not all of that's on the player, it's on the team as well.
Going back towards mid once again. More players invested from Team Liquid, and this time they're sticking around. Getting a kill contract through Profek on towards Nats. And meanwhile, Kiko's got one picked, but at the same time, BBL have got the rest of the pack. It's just 2 players left on Liquid's side.
Kiko was trying to thin out the herd with the ult to help the mid push. But now, the numbers are stacked against them, and this is for the map. It's been over in a flash. Patty revealing his position. The 2v1 begins with his death.
My ultimate is ready.
Well, you've got to rely on Kiko, and everybody knows where he is, and on top of that, he's stunned up, time's ticking away. You're expecting BBL now to take this. In fact, it's almost a BBL guarantee. Gets the first, looking for one more. You see that BBL are just stalling for time. They know exactly what they need to do. We're looking at Ascent here, Hazza, and what that third map holds for us as we move on to that with a BBL win.
BBL battering Liquid, the regional reps from Bangkok, on the second map of their choosing. An experiment gone wrong, perhaps. ISO dropped into his test tube. And back to the drawing board with them. We will see if they can respond on the deciding map.